Hey everyone, welcome back. It's your girl Toya T, and today it's a Toya's Tips Day. And I thought that it was very appropriate, especially since as the school year is about to start back for me, that I make a video about trusting your gut or taking a leap on faith, or I don't even know what other ways to say it, but I think I'll just call this trusting your gut. So I think I've mentioned this several times that I'm a graduate student and I teach as a part-time adjunct at a local college here in the Boston area, and I decided over Easter break that I wanted to switch professions, that I no longer wanted to go on the tenure track professor tract that is expected of me, especially since I'm getting a PhD in sociology, and I always thought that that's what I wanted to do. But after this past year, which was really hard for me, that I have decided that that's not something I want to do. I feel like anything that makes me that unhappy is not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. It doesn't make any sense for me to do something that stresses me out so much to the point where I have, depression and high anxiety. So after a conversation, I think I mentioned this before, after a conversation I had at Easter with my younger cousin about college, I realized that I do like working with students and young people, but I wanted to move more into the college counseling arena, and that also led to finding out about admissions jobs. And sorry, I'm looking at my phone because I'm on Lyft right now, but looking into also doing admissions. So I've been applying. I was applying for jobs since May when I was on vacation. I went on vacation right after the school year ended for me, which was early May, and I was on the cruise. You've seen those videos, and I was applying there with a free and clear mind, and I actually got a call back for a job at Wellesley, which was awesome, thinking that someone without any experience in admissions would get a call back from such a great school like Wellesley. And I actually went through the entire interviewing process, and at the end they just picked someone who had a little bit more experience, and especially for the type of job I was applying for, and I really appreciated the experience of doing it. But there's no but. Yeah, I really appreciate this experience of doing it, but it just made it clear to me that I was on the right path, seeing that I was getting such great feedback. And I also got in touch with my admissions officer from undergrad, who is very well connected in the admissions world and has given me great advice and good leads. It's also led to me applying for another job at NYU. But I'm rambling. There's a lot of stuff about me, but the main point about trusting your gut is that for a lot of that I was just going off of what I felt. It wasn't what I felt other people were expecting me to do, what I thought would make the most money, or whatever. It was all based off of what my gut was telling me. My gut was telling me that, hey, you don't want to teach and be a professor and go through the tenure track thing. It's not good for you. It's not the best move. Maybe you want to become a college counselor or work with high school students or something of that nature, where you're still using all the skills that you have accumulated from being in graduate school forever. And I will admit that this is my 8th year, and I've had all kinds of issues that I will also talk about on this. So this is going to be a semi-long video, but that I wanted to move into something different. And once I did that, I felt like I was just rolling through applications and going through them really quickly and being able to fill them out without any problems, and I was getting responses, and that was like the universe saying to me, like, hey, you made the right decision for you. You're qualified, you can do this, and just to keep going at it. So that is one example of me trusting my gut. Also trusting my gut was looking at my admissions officer from Columbia on LinkedIn, because I've never really used LinkedIn for job purposes, but for some reason it just hit my mind, let me see if I can contact him and email him and, say, hey, do you remember me? I was one of your students. Can you give me any advice? And it ended up being like super helpful. One, he did remember me, especially since I had such a great experience with my admissions officer. He sent me a postcard after I graduated from college saying congratulations and good luck. So it was really nice to have that kind of personal touch, and I still have that postcard, and I want to have that kind of impact on students' lives, either if it's through teaching or, through admissions or college counseling or whatever it is. I've always wanted to have that kind of impact on young people and helping them, through my own experiences, navigate the educational process, because not everyone has the same resources. I was lucky enough that both my parents graduated from college, so the idea of going to college is not foreign. And my mother's always made it very clear that whatever I wanted to do, she was always going to help me do it. So even though going to Columbia was definitely a financial burden for my family, she made sure that whatever she had to do to make sure that I got my degree from there, she did it, and I really do appreciate that. But not everybody has that experience, and I never want anyone to think to use finances or anything else as an excuse for not going after what they want. There's always different paths and different ways to get what you want at the end, and sometimes other paths work better than others. So I'm really still, I feel like this past few months I've really been telling everyone, just trust your gut. And for me, I think that my main goal for the whole trust your gut thing is that to spend maybe a challenge for myself for this next year, for my 31st year of life, the year 31, that I will trust my gut. Try to trust my gut more, because usually when I don't trust my gut, I end up, having some kind of, more difficulty, or I end up with a parking ticket, or I told myself to check on my car, and I didn't go check on it, and all of a sudden I got a parking ticket, and it's like, you had it in your head, but I won't talk about that. Thanks to God, a lot in New York City, I have 2 parking tickets off of not trusting my gut. But trusting your gut on things. I will admit, and I said this in my other video about, my 30 Things Before 30 video about getting help and not being afraid to ask for help. I will fully admit, and we'll have an honest truth moment here, that 30 was not a good year for me. I mean, it started off great. I had a great 30th birthday, but at this time last year, I was definitely at the very beginnings of depression, because I hit a wall that I did not see coming. Mainly on my academics, I was ready to finish my PhD program, and I had my whole dissertation written out, and then I had people on my committee, and I will mention this, people on my committee who were saying things like, oh, maybe you should go back in the field, I don't see something here, and I literally cried, and I'm telling you, I cried on Skype with my advisor, cried, and I never wanted to ever have that experience of crying in front of somebody who's not a family member and someone who I respect, and we have a professional relationship, a partial professional relationship. I really did not want to do that. I cried for I feel like an entire weekend I cried, but at least for that day, I cried the entire day, because it just hit me like, oh my gosh, you did all this work, you were pretty much killing yourself to get this done, everyone expected you to be done, and they're saying this to you, that this is not good enough. And I took that very, very hard, and even though I was really trying still, because in my gut, it told me, if you do not defend in the early fall, it's going to be a problem, because you're going to be teaching, and it's exactly what happened. I ended up not defending in the fall like I wanted to, for various reasons, and then I started teaching, and it was a different school. I hadn't taught in a couple of years, so it was very stressful for me to figure out to navigate the classroom and get back into the teaching groove, and it threw me into a very severe depression and anxiety over going to class, being prepared, feeling that I wasn't a good teacher, or that I was stupid, or my students were judging me. It was all these things, and every time that I left the classroom, which I felt like most days were bad days, most of the days that I was there, and especially in the beginning of the semester when I was still getting used to it, I left feeling absolutely like a failure or defeated, and I would go home and I would eat and sleep, which is all clear signs of depression. Oh, I got a lift request, but I'll make this quick. So it's all clear signs of depression, and I even got to a point where I will admit that I did contemplate suicide. I thought about it quite often, and that's what happens when you're clinically depressed. It's something that it clouds your mind. You feel like all the things that you want to do are painful. They're painfully hard to do. When friends would ask me to go out, it would be really hard for me to push to push myself out, to go do it. So it was always just very hard for me to just get out the door. And most of the time, if I didn't feel like going someplace and I couldn't get enough energy to go out and meet a friend, and if they said something, I felt like a horrible friend. I always had this thought in my mind, this recurring thought that I was an awful person, that I was stupid, that I was a failure, and I was embarrassed by these feelings. So it was just all on top of each other. At the same time, and the anxiety is very highly attached to it. So I started having like absolutely irrational. I had an irrational kind of response to everything, and you start kind of irrational response to email. So I knew my committee members might be emailing me, so I avoided email for weeks. There was actually like a good month where I didn't check my personal email at all, because thinking that my advisor or somebody on my committee might send me an email made my heart just absolutely skip 15 beats, and then just made me feel worse. And when you're in that kind of thing, you try to keep up a good face for everybody. And I think I tried my best to stay active. I traveled, I went to concerts and stuff like that, but most of the time it was just really hard for me to wake up in the morning and to not want to sleep all the time and eat. And I actually gained 20 pounds over the fall because I was doing a lot of comfort eating and no exercise, because then I was like embarrassed to go to the gym because I thought that I was fat and out of shape, and that my gym instructors and people at the gym would be judging me because I hadn't come in a long time, which is all very irrational. But that is what depression is. Depression is real. I'm giving you a very clear view into what it looks like, especially on my end. And I thought that I would be able to work through it, and it didn't. Christmas came, and the next year came, and I was still in that very dark place. That I didn't really even see how I could dig myself out of it, and to the point where I didn't even register for the semester, and ended up not being registered last semester, which is something else that I'm admitting. So I'm having this conversation outside. Not even registering, and then it added on more embarrassment, and added on the depression. And luckily I finally had a breaking point where my advisor was trying to help me, and I broke down and told her what was going on, and she was suggesting that maybe I should talk to my doctor and get some help. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But then I really didn't get around to it. And then I did go talk to my doctor, and she suggested some things that I did follow. But then at the same time, I was still at the beginning of it, and my mom noticed also, and finally just would not back down. She was a complete warrior princess, and just got in my face and was asking me, when are you going to defend? And I was trying to brush her off, and she followed me all around the house until I broke down and told her what the problem was. And my main fear, gosh, I'm gonna cry. My main concern was always, what my family would think. What my family would think, feeling like a complete embarrassment to them because I just could not get over this, this dissertation PhD hurdle. And then to hear my mother tell me that, gosh, I'm crying. Not crying yet. Okay. To hear my mother tell me that she absolutely did not care if I wanted to, that she cared about me and not about the situation, and that if I wanted to, quit the program right now, and with dissertation still written, that she would support my decision. Whatever else that I wanted to do, she would back me up. If I wanted to get my degree and then decide to become an astronaut or something, she would fully back me, and that it's not embarrassing, and that gosh, I'm like so sensitive, but there's no tears. But that it's family is there to support you, and if they're not there to support you, then they're not really family. They don't really care about you. So from there, it was a real turning point for me in March, and I was really able to work through a lot of stuff. My classes went a lot better. I was teaching better. I was feeling better. And by the summer, I was feeling great. By the time I hit my vacation in May, I was, 10 times better, feeling better, enjoying my time, relaxing better. My anxiety went down. I lost weight because I was able to go back to the gym and, get back into working out. And my sleeping was a lot better. I wasn't sleeping all the time or having interrupted sleep. I was also having problems sleeping before. So everything was just working out better. And I started going back to do the things that I always wanted to do. But this all came from having that breakthrough. And from there on, I pretty much been going off of gut reactions and doing things that I necessarily want to do and that I feel good about and that makes me feel good. And that has been my main focus. Like, it's really not that serious. Like, I'm very grateful for the fact that I have a roof over my head. I have food. I have, I have some money in my pocket. I have great friends. I have good family. Great family. Lots of support and love. I have a car that's paid off. I have insurance. So it's like, whatever I want to do, this is the time to do it. I don't have kids. I don't have a husband. So, if I want to switch careers and go down a different path, that's something that I can do right now. And that's just my little story about what's been going on this year. So this has all led me to, after I turned 31, I had a great time. I had a great birthday. I was in Atlantic City. It was like one of the best birthdays I've had in a long time. I had a birthday party in New York and got to, have my birthday with my New York friends, which I hadn't done in a while. And finally started, picking up on my YouTube videos and seeing that I have a good following here and people are with me on this whole thing. And, and I've just been doing a lot of just great stuff. And I'm happy that if you're still listening, thank you for listening to this. But my main thing is that if you're in the situation that I was just describing or something similar, like change can happen. You can change anytime that you want to. Don't let anything stop you from making that change. If you don't like your job, find a way to find a new one. You don't have to quit immediately, but, start looking for those new jobs. And then when you get that, quit that job that you hate. And if you can afford to take that time off, you have enough savings, or you have a spouse or a partner that can text messages, that can support you, then go ahead and do it. If you have some friends that you feel are toxic, get rid of them. And also not to put too much emphasis or concern about what people think or people who don't like you. Like, I'm at this point right now where I've gotten to, like, some people just rub me the wrong way and I just don't care about them anymore, and I shouldn't give them too much of my energy. And if you don't like me, then, boo-hoo for you. But I'm a great person. I'm fun, I'm intelligent, and I have a lot of things going for me. And even though, this summer didn't turn out the way that I absolutely had planned, I was hoping to start a new job for the fall and this late summer, I still have a great job. And I actually got a pay raise at my current job because I worked there for a year, so now I'm in the teachers union. And once I get that doctor in front of my name, they'll have to pay me even more. So I'll be set for this semester, and, I'm just kind of going with the way things are. And, so I'm happy. And for 31, I'm hoping, seeing that it's definitely 10 times better than it was last August for me. I'm looking forward to having a great 31 and to go with my gut, do the things that I want to do, even though I didn't, get that full-time job yet. I still have, a roof over my head and, great friends, and, doing this teaching job for this semester or for the year doesn't stop me from finding that, that great job that I've been looking for. And I also get to travel too. So that's the silver lining, that I have been trying to plan a trip to Australia to go visit my best friend TT, and I was trying to go this summer, but then all this stuff was happening, and now I'm definitely planning on trying to go for the winter break, and I will have a winter break because I'll be teaching. So these are all great things. So these are all things that I have happened through this year, and I hope this helps anybody. And if you have any comments or you want to share your story, please, leave a comment below, make a response video, share it with your friends, like it, Google it, whatever, Google Plus me or whatever, or you can leave me a private message, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you and to share our stories, and make sure, especially in the brown community, the Black and Latino and Asian and all different kind of, especially for women too. It's always hard to talk about when you have a problem and being vulnerable, and then this is the first step. So I hope you guys have a great day. I'm having a great day. You can see I'm right near the water. in good old Dorchester, South Boston, on a beautiful, Thursday morning in Boston. And I'm hoping to hear back from you guys. So have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.